They thought Sparta was broken, that their legendary warriors had been crushed at Thermopylae, and that the Persian Empire would march unchallenged through Greece forever. But 10 years after that fateful stand, a storm was gathering on the horizon, and it was not the Persians who would bring devastation. It was the vengeance of 10,000 Spartans, fueled by honor, grief, and the memory of their fallen king. The air trembled with anticipation as the Spartan warriors sharpened their spears, polished their bronze shields, and prepared to strike back at the empire that had dared to humiliate them. Flames from burning villages flickered in the distance as the weight of destiny pressed upon the soldiers, each step toward Plataea carrying the ghosts of Thermopylae with them. The world was about to witness the brutal reckoning, where courage, strategy, and unyielding discipline would turn the tide against a seemingly invincible foe. A decade earlier, at the narrow mountain pass of Thermopylae, the 300 Spartans under King Leonidas had made their name immortal. Surrounded by tens of thousands of Persian soldiers, they fought with unmatched courage, buying time for the Greek city-states to prepare for the inevitable invasion. Though Thermopylae ended in tragedy, with Leonidas and his warriors falling to the overwhelming Persian forces, their sacrifice became a spark of unity and resistance across Greece. Athens had been occupied, temples burned, and families displaced, leaving an indelible mark of shame and sorrow. Sparta, wounded in pride and driven by vengeance, began quietly preparing its response. Under the leadership of Pausanias, Leonidas' nephew, Sparta mobilized not just its own warriors, but rallied allies from across Greece, forging a coalition that would confront the Persian army with unprecedented force. This was no longer a small band of heroes. This was an organized, disciplined force of 10,000 Spartans, supported by tens of thousands of Greek allies, marching with a singular purpose: to avenge Thermopylae and restore the honor of their homeland. As the army moved toward Plataea, the Greek forces displayed an extraordinary blend of strategy and discipline. The terrain was carefully studied, rivers and hills used to their advantage, and every soldier knew his role in the impending conflict. The Persian general Mardonius, left in command by Xerxes, believed the Greeks were weak and divided, misjudging the strength and unity of their forces. Meanwhile, in the Spartan camp, patience and caution guided every maneuver. Days of waiting were spent in tense preparation, with soldiers maintaining readiness while supplies were stockpiled and positions fortified. The tension was palpable, the silent understanding that the battle would be fierce, bloody, and decisive. Rumors of Persian movements stirred anxiety, yet the Spartans' resolve never wavered. They were fueled by the memory of Thermopylae and a thirst for justice that could not be denied. Allies observed in awe as the Spartan commanders coordinated maneuvers, their years of military discipline shining through in every ordered step. Every formation and every strategy whispered across the camp. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through history, where the ghosts of the past would meet the living might of Sparta in a clash that would decide the fate of Greece itself. 10 years had passed since Thermopylae, but the Persian threat lingered like a dark cloud over Greece. Xerxes had returned to Asia after his initial conquest, leaving his trusted general Mardonius to secure Persian dominance in the region. Mardonius's task was clear: subdue the Greek city-states and force Athens and Sparta into submission. He established a fortified camp near Plataea, confident that the Greeks, fractured and weakened by past defeats, would crumble under the might of Persia's massive army. But the Spartans had been watching, planning, and waiting. Sparta, once humiliated by the loss of Leonidas and the 300 at Thermopylae, now mobilized a force 10 times larger, led by Pausanias, Leonidas' nephew. Unlike Thermopylae, this would not be a defensive stand. It would be an organized counterstrike. 10,000 Spartans, disciplined, battle-hardened, and fueled by vengeance, marched toward Plataea alongside tens of thousands of Greek allies. The Persians, who underestimated the cohesion of the Greek forces, prepared for another easy conquest. Mardonius's arrogance blinded him to the growing strength and unity of the Greek coalition. As the Spartan-led army advanced, they carefully planned every maneuver. Terrain was studied meticulously. Narrow passes would be avoided in favor of open fields where Spartan discipline and spear formations could dominate. Supply lines were fortified, scouts monitored Persian movements, and signals were established to coordinate the diverse allied contingents. By the time the Greeks reached Plataea, the Persians faced a formidable and organized force that combined strategy, skill, and the unyielding spirit of revenge. What had once been a humiliation for Greece was about to become Persia's nightmare. These were a remarkable demonstration of unity and discipline. Sparta, historically a warrior state with rigorous training and strict military codes, now led a coalition that included Athenians, Corinthians, Megarians, and other allies. Each contingent brought unique strengths. The Athenians contributed naval experience and archers, the Corinthians brought tactical flexibility, and the Spartans provided unmatched heavy infantry. Pausanias carefully positioned these forces, ensuring that the spear-wielding hoplites formed an unbreakable line, while lighter troops flanked and harassed the enemy. Despite differences in city-state cultures and rivalries, the shared goal of avenging Thermopylae and defending Greece forged cooperation. Communication across the army relied on a combination of heralds, signal fires, and prearranged tactics, highlighting the Greeks' ability to maintain discipline even under the stress of anticipation and enemy observation. Persian scouts, observing from a distance, misread the Greek movements, assuming confusion where there was preparation, hesitation where there was strategy. In the Spartan camp, patience became a weapon. Days of waiting, careful positioning, and constant drills ensured that each soldier knew his role perfectly. Even minor skirmishes were used to test Persian responses, providing valuable intelligence for the final engagement. The Greeks' ability to merge rigid Spartan discipline with flexible allied forces allowed them to transform numerical parity into strategic advantage. By the time Mardonius attempted to lure them into open terrain, the Greeks were ready to exploit every weakness, turning his confidence into vulnerability. The coalition at Plataea was not simply a defensive measure. It was a calculated setup for a decisive, overwhelming counterattack. As the days of tense preparation dragged on, the anticipation in the Greek camp grew nearly unbearable. The soldiers, though disciplined, were acutely aware that this battle would be the culmination of years of suffering, loss, and humiliation. The Persian army, while vast and well-equipped, suffered from overconfidence and poor coordination between its diverse contingents, including Medes, Carians, and other subject peoples. Mardonius believed that a quick strike would shatter the Greek lines, but the Spartans and their allies had a far deeper understanding of both strategy and terrain. Nighttime movements and subtle repositioning of units were designed to deceive the Persians, creating the illusion of vulnerability while strengthening the Greek formations. Every detail mattered: the positioning of heavy infantry, the placement of archers to cover flanks, and even the timing of signal horns to coordinate attacks. Morale played a crucial role. In the Greek camp, stories of Thermopylae were recounted not as a tale of defeat, but as a source of inspiration, a reminder of Spartan bravery and the price of honor. The Persian forces, unaware of the meticulous preparations, began making critical errors. Scouts misreported Greek positions, Mardonius overestimated his leverage, and factions within his own army grew impatient for battle. By the time dawn approached, the tension had reached a breaking point. The Greeks, poised and ready, could almost smell the chaos about to descend on the Persian lines. What seemed like hesitation on the Greek side was actually precise control. The soldiers knew that the moment of engagement would determine the fate of Greece itself. Every hour of preparation, Every calculation, every whispered order contributed to the Greek advantage, setting the stage for a confrontation that would become legendary. When the battle finally erupted at dawn, it was a scene of unrelenting chaos and discipline combined. The Persian army, expecting easy victory, charged across the Asopus River, only to meet the disciplined Spartan phalanx. Spears clashed, shields splintered, and the air filled with the sounds of battle. The war cries of Greeks, the screams of Persians, and the metallic ring of bronze on bronze. Hand-to-hand combat became a deadly dance, where training and cohesion were the difference between life and death. The Spartans' tight formations held firm, their hoplites pushing relentlessly, while Greek archers and lighter infantry struck from flanks, creating confusion and panic. Mardonius attempted to rally his forces, but the Spartans and their allies anticipated every move, cutting off Persian retreats and isolating key units. Amid the chaos, Mardonius fell, struck by a determined Greek warrior, and his death shattered Persian morale. What had been a confident, intimidating army quickly descended into disarray. Soldiers fled in panic. Commanders were killed or captured, and the organized lines of the Persian army dissolved into a desperate rout. The Greeks pressed their advantage, systematically crushing enemy positions and overrunning camps. Every corner of the battlefield became a testament to Spartan discipline, Greek strategy, and the unrelenting desire for vengeance. By the end of the day, the Persian army lay in ruins, their dreams of conquest destroyed, and the ghosts of Thermopylae finally avenged through blood and steel. The aftermath of Plataea was a turning point not only for Sparta, but for all of Greece. The Persian army, decimated and demoralized, could no longer threaten Greek independence. Estimates suggest that over 250,000 Persian troops were killed, while Greek casualties, though significant, were far lower due to superior strategy and disciplined formations. The victory was not simply military, it was symbolic, a fulfillment of Spartan honor and a tribute to those who had died at Thermopylae. Pausanias oversaw the aftermath, ensuring that the fallen were honored and that the Greek alliance remained intact, despite previous rivalries. The Persians retreated across Asia Minor, leaving Greece free to rebuild, but their empire's aura of invincibility had been shattered forever. The battle also served as a reminder of the power of unity, preparation, and discipline in the face of overwhelming odds. Plataea was the culmination of a decade-long struggle, a demonstration that courage, strategy, and revenge could change the course of history. Sparta had risen from the shadow of defeat to lead Greece to a decisive victory. The echoes of the battlefield carried far beyond the plains of Plataea, reminding future generations that the might of an empire could be overcome by the determination and skill of those who refused to be defeated. The Greeks had not only avenged Thermopylae, they had cemented their place in history as the defenders of freedom and the architects of a civilization that would influence the world for millennia. As the dust settled on the blood-soaked plains of Plataea, the silence that followed was profound, broken only by the cries of the wounded and the solemn chants of the victorious Greeks. The Persian army, once a seemingly unstoppable force, had been shattered, their ambition crushed beneath the disciplined might of Sparta and the unity of the Greek allies. Pausanias walked among the fallen, paying respects to the heroes who had fought and died to avenge Thermopylae, their sacrifice finally honored through victory. The victory at Plataea was more than just a battle won. It was the vindication of courage, discipline, and unwavering resolve. Sparta, rising from the shadow of past defeat, had led Greece to a triumph that would echo through history, a reminder that even the greatest empires could fall before the determination of those who refused to yield. The ghosts of Thermopylae, once mourned and revered, had been avenged. The memory of Leonidas and his 300 burned brighter than ever in the hearts of every Greek soldier. From the smoldering remains of the Persian camp to the blood-streaked plains, the message was clear. Greece would not bow, and Sparta's warriors would not forget. The story of Plataea stands as a testament to the power of vengeance forged through honor, a triumph that reshaped the course of history and ensured that the legacy of Sparta would live forever. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the battlefield, one truth remained unchallenged. Thermopylae was only the beginning, and Plataea was the reckoning, the day when 10,000 Spartans struck back and claimed the justice they had long been denied. The courage, sacrifice, and unity displayed on those plains would forever inspire generations, proving that honor and vengeance, when combined, could change the fate of nations.